Hello and welcome to this UniTaster On Demand event, where today we're going to be looking at university courses in sociology. My name is John Sheik, I'm the founder of UniTasterDays, and it's my job to introduce the session and introduce our speakers. All three speakers today are joining us from the University of Gloucestershire. That is Dr. Hazel Roberts. Hazel is a senior lecturer in sociology and also the course leader for the BA Sociology course at Gloucestershire. I'm also joined by Dr. John Hobson. John is an associate professor at the University of Gloucestershire, and Dr. Louise, who is a lecturer at the University of Gloucestershire in social sciences. I'm very conscious of these events. You've tuned in to hear from our excellent speakers, not from myself. So let me pass it forward to our first speaker. That's Louise. Louise, over to you, please.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session about why to consider studying sociology at university. So one of the main reasons I think I was drawn to sociology as a subject was because I had an interest in power and how power functions and who has power in society, who is making the big decisions, and who is on the receiving end of that power. And a lot of discussions about that include thinking about marginalized groups and also privileged groups and how those systems of power come to being. So that's one of my key reasons for wanting to study sociology.
Thanks, Louise. That interest in power and documenting it was one of the key things that drew me to wanting to study sociology at university. And what we find is that students of the subject in particular tend to be really interested in trying to understand and document particular forms of inequality in a range of different areas related to the way in which power operates in our society. So these could be inequalities on the basis of class, on the basis of race and ethnicity or gender, and also inequalities related to disability, sexuality, or gender identity. So what we find is that as a subject area, and for students who are interested in studying sociology, being interested in forms of inequality, but also more broadly, the subject can be used as a way of trying to tackle some of these forms of social injustice by seeking to analyse what's going wrong in society through social research. As a subject community, we can come together and draw on that research as a means of trying to affect social change. So that interest in social action is something that the subject has as a whole, and that we find that students of sociology tend to be particularly interested in.
As my colleagues have said, one of the big things that draws people to sociology is that interest in how the world works, how things function, and often actually how things don't function. It's when things go wrong that they become obvious to us. But sociology isn't just about those big relationships, those big things that happen, where things go wrong catastrophically or where there are significant problems in society. Sociology is also about the mundane. It's about the everyday relationships. It's about the things that we do on a sort of everyday basis that make up the actions that make up the lives that we live. And for me, that's one of the joys of sociology, is that breadth of the discipline, that you can look at the big things, but you can also look at the small things. And understanding those mundane things, understanding those small things really is about helping you to think about and to look at the world in a different way. I think once you start studying sociology, you find that all of those things that you might have taken for granted in life suddenly become much more interesting, and you can bore all your friends in the coffee shop or the pub about why things are happening. But nothing, I think as sociologists, we understand nothing happens without a reason. Things don't just come into being. The world is full of processes, and the world is full of actions that people take and have taken in the past that have made things the way they are. And in understanding those processes, understanding those actions, we can understand who we are as individuals, but we can also understand who we are as whole societies.
So what to expect if you study sociology? And on the previous slide, myself and colleagues highlighted some of the social problems and inequalities that people who study sociology are interested in. And as John was saying, sociology helps you to see these social problems with fresh eyes, with a new lens to interpret the social world around us. However, if you're looking for answers, it's going to be difficult to find in sociology, because a lot of what we do on sociology courses involves debate and discussion, looking and analysing different viewpoints of how we can understand society and the social world, and weighing up different forms of evidence of which we think makes more sense in terms of interpreting the world around us. So it's not going to be a subject for people who are looking for straight, easy answers. It's certainly a subject full of debate and discussion. And alongside that, we see students enhancing their critical thinking and analytical skills throughout a sociology degree, because you become critical of everything you come across, particularly once you've been introduced to the sociological imagination. You can't unsee things once you've been indoctrinated into sociology and the way of thinking in sociology. It impacts the way you interpret the world around you. And obviously, enhancing your critical thinking skills in particular is a really applicable skill for future careers. But also, studying sociology allows you to specialise in a particular area that you might be interested in, whether that is gender inequality, thinking about class and class inequality, race, and race relations, a multitude of other areas that you may be interested in. You can focus on those within a sociology degree, particularly in your own research in a dissertation. And there may even be opportunities on a sociology degree to work alongside staff members on research projects and co-produce with community organisations some impactful pieces of sociological research that really does help to change and shape the world around you.
So I've been teaching sociology now for nearly 20 years, and in that time I've seen a lot of applications and a lot of personal statements from a lot of different people fantastically interested in the subject and wanting to learn more. And I think personally that there really are two main things that staff, universities want to see when you're applying to do a degree for sociology, and I think largely for a lot of other degrees as well. First off, tell us something about what you love in the subject. What are the things you're interested in? Don't just say, oh, I like sociology. You know, it's a great subject. It's always interested me. Well, it's fantastic to know that, but give us a bit more detail. Tell us perhaps, you know, what it is in sociology. It's a broad discipline. So what it is in sociology that you're particularly interested in? What's caught your imagination? What do you think is important? Is it something to do with gender? Is it something to do with family relationships? Is it something to do with the sociology of politics and how whole societies work? Is it to do with individual relationships? Tell us something about your interest. Maybe link it to a topic you've done in school or in an access course or wherever you're coming from. And then tell us something about yourself. Tell us something about you. Show us some of perhaps the extracurricular things you do. And maybe, if you're being really clever, link those things into your interest in sociology. So perhaps, you know, that might be some volunteering work that you're doing, or a hobby that you've got that is involved with working in society, working with people, and you can make those links to sociology. Perhaps it's working in a job, making a bit of money. You can reflect on the relationships and the ways in which that builds into your understanding of society, or that particular part of consumerism, or whatever it could be. So give us something about you and something that you're doing, and something that tells us something about you as a person. And remember, you don't necessarily have to have studied sociology beforehand as an A-level or as a GCSE or as part of a BTEC or an application course or wherever you're coming from. If you have done that, that's fantastic and you can mention it. But one of the joys of sociology is that it relates to so many different disciplines. There are parts of it in history, in psychology, in philosophy, and indeed in business and all of those other kinds of subjects as well. So there's plenty of ways for you to make those links to the social world, the world around us, because absolutely, sociology is about us. It's about us as individuals, and it's about us as groups. So there should be lots of opportunity for you to make those links and show us why you think this subject is something that you want to spend your life or your academic life studying and working towards.
So I'm going to be taking you through a bit of a careers overview in terms of what career aspirations and opportunities could you have with a completed sociology degree. Certainly, seeing sociology students move out into the wider world once they've graduated is one of the the most exciting things about my job. I love to hear all about the really interesting and diverse career pathways that sociology graduates find. Because of the nature of our subject, there are some patterns in terms of the employment opportunities that sociology graduates tend to gravitate towards. And so there are particular careers that sociology graduates might be more minded to move towards. And these might be careers in relation to the charity, voluntary and community sector, for example, local and national government, including the civil service, housing or youth work. All of these sectors are particularly relevant for students who've graduated with a really good understanding of complex social issues, who have a deep understanding of the social world and how it works, and also have a very good awareness of patterns of inequality and disadvantage, and how they can shape people's lives. So those are fairly popular career options for sociology graduates. Research is another popular option where students might move on and to make use of the research skills that they've developed during their time studying sociology to move into a career pathway with an organisation such as the Office for National Statistics. It could also be that students decide to move into academic research, which I'll talk a bit more about in a second. The key thing to bear in mind, though, is that this list is not exhaustive, because a sociology degree gives you transferable skills that are relevant to many, many other career pathways. Your skills in terms of thinking critically, taking an analytical approach to problem solving, being able to work with evidence and data. All of those mean that a sociology degree is valuable to a really wide range of employers. The other thing to bear in mind is that there are graduate entry points for particular careers. So some sociology graduates might choose to move into career pathways with a postgraduate qualification, where a sociology degree gives them a really good preparation for that career pathway. So this could include social work, teaching, and also policing. The other option that a significant minority of sociology students take is further study in sociology, or perhaps a related subject. This could be through particular taught postgraduate courses, particularly master's courses, or possibly studying for a research degree. So this could be a master's by research or even a PhD. And certainly further study is one way in which you can develop a career in academic research and teaching, potentially, if that's what you're interested in. So to sum up, a sociology degree gives you a fantastic set of transferable skills that are relevant to many, many career options, but you also have a really interesting and varied range of careers open to you upon completion of a sociology degree.